Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. To coin a phrase from Reddy here. Arsenal Fan Circle here. This is the Sunday show, and we're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it today. It has not been a good weekend for Arsenal fans, and the team's mental strength will now be tested. A huge week coming up for Arsenal as we prepare to finish off the only team that we've beaten in the last four games in the Champions League, which is, of course, very important to progress in the Champions League. But that needs to be the appetizer to now what has become a main event next Sunday at the Etihad. Um, on the face of it, nothing to fear in the sense that they came to the Emirates earlier this season and drew 1-1 with us. Um, Dangerous that the narrative would be that a draw would be enough for us next Sunday. Um, but as Gary would say, let's shoot for the stars and land on the moon. I think he says that. So let's try to overachieve and win that game next Sunday against Manchester City. Another thing Gary says, there are levels to this. So Manchester City, let's put it in context. They look formidable right now. They look like a team who have know what they need to do and are starting to get the results that they need. Well, let's not forget, before this win against a very listless Chelsea team, they drew two games before the international break. They drew away to West Ham and they drew at home to Nottingham Forest. Um, so there are levels to this. We have built up a sizable advantage that now seems to be we're going to need that advantage to get ourselves over the line. And yeah, the media started to already pump the narratives of we're being trolled obviously by rival fans. You would expect that, but the Arsenal players and the Arsenal manager have to hold their hand up and show ownership of what happened yesterday. Take ownership of what happened yesterday. Um, yeah, so let's get into it. Frustrating and annoying yesterday. Arsenal fan circle here. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome. So let's get into it here. Stephen, thanks for leaving a message. I know you're going to be on the road. Hey guys, can't watch the show today as I'm off to Regina with a hockey team, which might be a blessing for your show, as I am not a happy man right now with Arteta. So it's been a bad Arsenal weekend, right? It's been a bad Arsenal weekend. Reddy's in the house. Welcome, Reddy, as well. Welcome to the show, everyone. Send in your comments and we will highlight them live. It's been a difficult Arsenal weekend. If you want to have your say, this is where you can have your say. Highlight your comments and concerns, and we will get into them as we get through this podcast. I'm expecting at least maybe one co-host to join me today. Hey, Reddy, good afternoon. I think Stan will join, maybe Tony, but you never know with Tony. Let's shoot for the goal, Ray. We need some attacking intent from this manager. Yeah, horrible. Yesterday was littered with very poor passing. Ready. There's clips going around of Declan Rice where we're on a counter attack with David Raya throws the ball out quickly, and Declan Rice sidesteps in midfield. He's got the option of a Martinelli on the left, a Madueke on the right, and the Gyökeres through the middle. Of course, he goes for the most difficult pass. Outside of the right foot to try to find Gyökeres. When you have Martinelli, you can find quite very. That bottle troll was proper shithousery. Fair play to the City fan. Look, I mean, You want to have your team back up what you're thinking and how you're feeling, and we haven't done that in over since that Everton game a month ago, the last Premier League game. Um, the really irritating thing to me, really, is for sentimental value, Mikel Arteta chose to go with Kepa in the Carabao Cup final, and as a one-off game against the Pep Guardiola Manchester City team, um, you have to pick your best team. I'm not worried about the feelings of one Arsenal player in the squad. I'm worried about the feelings of this fan base, and there are millions of us, and just one of that player who did get to play a Carabao Cup final, but was found culpable for the first goal. And losing the first goal to Manchester City can be a dangerous thing to do. The other thing that Manchester City did in the Carabao Cup final, and they've been employing it since against Chelsea here today and Liverpool, and against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final, they pushed all of their attacking players. They pressed us. They're pressing really hard, really high up the field. Quick word about Chelsea. That is a listless, rudderless team that are going nowhere. Lee Rosenior is out of his depth in terms of qualifying for Champions League football. They will finish outside the Champions League places, and that Chelsea team is soft mentally, and my hope was that they would put up a fight against Manchester City, but City were too good. The referee did seem to allow a shade of preference towards Manchester City in that game, but we're not here expecting any favors from the opposition. Outside of the game next Sunday, Manchester City have to go to Everton away, and they have to go to Bournemouth away. And those are two opportunities that Manchester City could draw points in, but I don't see very, very many opportunities where they're going to lose points now. They have the bit between the teeth, and a huge game next Sunday. Huge game where if Arsenal want to show that they have anything about them, they need to turn up and play for the badge. Something they didn't do yesterday. Raya was the second best passer after Rice. That says how much poor we were, and it's on Arteta again. And I think Areola is a very good manager, really. Um, a manager who is actually out of contract in the summer. So that's interesting, right? Um, some teams may actually move for him because Bournemouth, capacity wise and attendance wise, they're the smallest. Um, they have the smallest attendance in the Premier League, um, and the tactic as well. David Raya was the best. I would say David Raya through the season has been one of our best players, um, indeed. Um, Alonso, I'm going to see if I can sort out sending you the link, but you didn't respond to me on Thursday night either, so I didn't know if you were going to be joining me. Taib, how am I? I'm doing well. Personally, doing okay, but Arsenal are the putting me through it. Um, so it's a tough one, you know. Let's see if I can give Alonso the link here. So I'll just keep talking for a second. Bear with me, everybody. And send in your comments about the game. All right, Alonso, let me see what I can do here. Give me a second. Okay, Alonso, you got the link. If you can join, that's great. All right, buddy. Back here. Hopefully, Alonso will join us. Yeah, listen. Yeah, Alonso, no worries. Stressful night, and Arsenal didn't add to it, so I hope you're okay, Alonso. All right, so let's get into this Arsenal versus Bournemouth. I did want to mention at the time. Stan and I had been talking about this on Thursday night. If you've seen the show, Ben White for me. Whenever there's a situation where Urian Timber cannot start, Ben White can play some of the minor games, but not a major game. I don't think he has the legs anymore. I think Mikel Arteta has given him too many minutes coming back from injury. And Mosquera, I believe, is a much better um, solution at right back when Jurien Timber's not around. Um, Ben White is possibly leaving at the end of the season, and we should be looking at a replacement at right back. Miles Lewis Skelly came in and played well. He had been rusty for a couple of games. Looked rusty. Again, Mikel Arteta has not found the minutes for Miles Lewis Skelly as he had intended to keep Hincapi and Calafiori um, playing. You know, the Miles Lewis Skelly came in and didn't do much wrong. I did have a problem with the leading goal that Scott scored in the second half, and Miles Lewis Skelly drifted into midfield to try to challenge for a ball. And again, when a left back is out of position, Gabriel is then forced into the um, inside left area of the field. Saliba has also drifted over to compensate for Gabriel moving and to take Evan Nielsen. And Ben White's not able to get around quickly enough for Scott coming through the middle. Now, of course, many people have correctly identified Zubimendi did not track the runner. But for me, if our back four is set in place, um, we don't. All of the players do not get out of position, and it was another goal conceded, similar to the Southampton goal for me. Um, a left back getting sucked in, a left centre back getting sucked toward the left back position, Saliba getting sucked toward the middle of the goal, and Ben White not able to cover around either. And then finally, Zubimendi um, lost his runner, his third man running, and then we looked listless after that. You know. So yeah, I've just started the show here. Assembled. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, and after the show, I'm going to go watch some of the U.S. Masters as well. Hope that Rory McIlroy can claim another green jersey. And then after that, it's we're looking at Sporting Lisbon this week, and we're looking at Manchester City away. Um, so for me, the first goal also. I was watching Gary's show yesterday, and in the comments, uh, my feeling was, Ben White is charged with the right back position, defending that right back area. And there is a moment in every game where the fullback and his winger um, need to communicate an exact time for where the responsibility switches from the winger to the defender. They have to almost know that telepathically. And in that instance, I believe both of them believe the other one was going to take care of the situation. Um, both players are high up in the pitch. They're outside of the 18-yard line, and the ball gets played in between um, those two players and the center back. Um, Now, the best way to stop goals is to stop the crosses coming in. We saw against Chelsea against Manchester City today. The first goal comes in. Nico Riley is able to head the ball in because there's not enough pressure on the ball coming in, getting passed into the box. There's no pressure on the cross coming in. Um, and similar thing happened against Bournemouth yesterday. Arsenal went to sleep. The player had the opportunity to cross the ball in, and anytime a ball is going to come into the box, somebody has to deal with it. Yesterday, too many times it was our central defenders having to cut things out and deal with what was happening. Um, the ball gets crossed, it hits Saliba's heel, um, squirms up into the air, and there's nobody on the back post defending Krupi because honestly, they don't anticipate the ball coming in that fashion to Krupi. And Arsenal go one down early doors in the 17th minute. Question from the assemble. Do you think they're going to do it and why? This is extremely touch and go, in my opinion. If you're talking the assemble, if you're talking about in the entirety of the season, if you think we're going to do it and win the league. I believe we will go on and win the league. Um, do I think we're going to go to the Etihad and win? I think that would be. I would give ourselves a 20% chance that we're going to win at the Etihad on Sunday. I would say we have a 50-50 chance of drawing the game. So that pretty much leaves a 50% chance that we could lose the game. But I think that we are good enough to face up to this Manchester City team at their place. I think with a preparation of a week at home to Lisbon, let me grab some water here. So yeah, the assembled. I think with the preparation of a good win against Sporting Lisbon, it will restore confidence in the team. I believe that good or bad, I believe that the players will be able to tune out what's happening, like not hear what's going on. And professional footballers have to not hear what's going on. They have to believe in the process. They have to believe in their abilities. They have to believe, and they do believe that they can go to the Etihad and win. Um, so then we come. Alonso's joined us, so I bring Alonso in. Hey, Alonso, how are you?
Hey, Ray, how's it going, man?
Good. Having a bad Arsenal weekend. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that whenever I work at a grocery store and people's other fan bases, supporters of their teams tell me that, well, you guys might finally do it, and I was like, well, wait till we get to April and May because it seems like the same patterns have
Yeah,
caught up to Arsenal, and it kind of shows when we lost the League Cup finals to Manchester City, and then we lose to Southampton. You would think, Ray, that we would have that chance to finally beat them, and we don't have that mentality still because Arteta is trying to do different things to play defensively, and again, that's what our biggest weakness is that, or their biggest weakness is that they can't. they are just stuck sometimes, and it becomes a late draw or late win when we don't comfortably win games. So it's become now where you don't know which Arsenal team is going to show up because you know something's going to go wrong, and it's getting to a point where it's coming down to Arteta to figure it out, and he has yet to do so, and it just sucks right now because I don't see us overcoming this because it's in our minds, you know.
Yeah, this team has all of the ability. I believe the team has all of the ability. We may not be managed or coached correctly in terms of the amount of goals, scoring opportunities that we're creating. Yesterday, the team was so disjointed in terms of their passing. Um, we couldn't pass out from the back. It seemed like Bournemouth had seen what Pep Guardiola did to us in the final and tried to do the same thing, press us high up on the field, and we're not able to break that press. Um, so it's becoming one of the pundits said today on the coverage, the nerves have come and the Arsenal football has gone. You know, when the nerves come, our football goes away, and that's a barrier that this team needs to break through. And all of the pundits are saying that. Um, the first title is the most difficult one to gain. That experience is difficult to gain. Um, but Tony, I'll bring you in. What are your thoughts on the last 24 hours of weekend football, Arsenal, City, and all that?
Madness is seeing the same thing over and over and expecting something different.
Mhm.
Arteta has not grown in 5 years, still sucks at management. Again, you'll have six players with over 5,000 minutes. It's starting to show more and more that he doesn't have the plan B, C, and D, which are plan A, B, plan A, all the way down to Z. It's plan A again. But
Yeah, as the
we
assembly said here, it's extremely touch and go now. What are we talking about the next week? Football is going to come to us. We'll be sitting here next Sunday talking about. We could be talking about a couple of things. We could be talking about an Arsenal that we're confident that can go on now and win the title, having either drawn or beaten Man City. Or we could talk about Arsenal just needing to win the rest of the games, having lost and having no more margin for error because now the goal difference has evaporated away with that 3-0 defeat of Chelsea. And, you know, there are fans out there, Alonso, who are mapping, the worst case scenario 10 days from now that they could be ahead of us in the league on goal difference.
Yeah, and that's what sucks about this whole thing is that I get it that it takes time for new players to adjust to a new league, new team, new system. But when you're constantly having to use your starting 11, and you have a hard time scoring because you're too busy passing backwards, and
Yes.
or your wingers, particularly Martinelli, is too busy trying to run out dribbling to the front, and he runs out of space, and you're not getting enough crosses into Eucharist or Havertz or whoever is the striker, then you waste time by getting the ball back into your end to score the ball. And there's a player who Arteta continues to use, and Jesus, that all he does is just dribble around the ball now, and he doesn't know how to score because we need him to, because he's so not in the game. So the goal differential thing is on Arteta as well for not going for it enough. And we sit back and defend all game long, just hoping for the
Yeah.
best because our midfielders are so disconjointed on what to do. Like Udegaard, for example. Whenever he's hurt, what are we actually missing from him? Because he no longer scores. He no longer tries to pass the ball whenever it's our
Yeah.
time to score. So he passed the ball backwards to left and right.
Yeah. For me,
Well,
when Odegaard's been injured, I've been like, okay, as long as Eze can go and we have we have an adequate replacement in Eze. I'm actually been fine with Odegaard not being in the team, and that's one squad spot that we could and should, you know, be able to use better in a better way. And this is our club captain. So when things get difficult, everything seems difficult, right? When things are going well, everything seems fine. When in regards to Odegaard, um, when he's not playing well, and he had opportunities in a couple of games against Southampton, and I think against Sporting maybe to score a goal there. So yeah, I mean, you said it there. The assembled, it's extremely touch and go. So it's very much finally in the balance about Arsenal going to the Etihad, and I believe that there's still that Arsenal team that drew 2-2 there last season. Mr. Tom's in the house. I still believe the Arsenal team that drew 2-2 and had the character to almost win that game, Tony. That team is still there. The characters are still there, and they can still go and perform next week. But it's very disconcerting. This City team that seems to be collecting some momentum right now.
It's not like we've seen this once or twice.
four
We
times.
just did it. We just did it a couple of years ago where we had a 7 point lead at the last week of April.
Yeah.
Here we are, just starting the second week of April. So,
But and yet, I would say that we have a better squad. We have a better team now than we
On
did 2 years
yeah,
paper,
ago on paper, right?
that's what's terminal though. I mentioned that Thursday. You have a football director that went out and did everything to get us across the line, and yet Arteta goes to his old tactics, his old standbys, his favorite crayons, as we know he has.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I mean, there could be a scenario here where we win the Premier League this season, but if we get into next September under Mikel Arteta and we're still playing the similar kind of football that our rival fans like to, give us banter about, then I'm not going to be happy with that with the style of play because we've adopted a style of play this season that's gotten us to this position, Alonso. But we need to and look. The league is the league. The table doesn't lie. We are still 6 points clear of Manchester City for a reason, but we have 6 games to go here.
I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat, especially Mr. Tom. But instead of saying hey, I'll say
Uh-huh.
he knows. Anyway, so yeah, I
Oh,
mean, it's like the way we play. It seems like the more and more our players are getting hurt and getting put into the ground because, like Tony had said, our top players are getting a lot of minutes turned down to them. And, that's why you're seeing Saka get hurt. You're seeing Timber get hurt. You're seeing Ben White have issues now. And it's quite, this should have been a concern 2 years ago. And, I don't know if it's a training ground or the way Arteta has this team playing, but it's starting to get to a point where we're losing important players in an important part of the season. And because of this rotation, you're not rotating enough, so your team is susceptible to making mistakes. And unfortunately, because of that, these fans want certain players out. And you could take it as how it is, but it's just a mess right now. And Arteta should take the blame for it, but so should our players because they need to step up in key moments. And again, we're forced back to it's strictly bum time, right? Because
Yeah,
we're seeing the same story over and over again about how we have a good team on paper, but then we are again forcing the situation where we're not even in the league anymore because City are now 3 points. Is it 6 points now? Clear of us
six
with a game at
points
hand.
down with a game in hand.
Yeah, so they know how to win. They know how to win titles because they've been there many times.
Yeah,
And we're still trying to get to that point where we're trying to win the league. And I'm afraid we might again not win it because of Arteta's failure to adapt.
yeah. And look, if having had this lead where we are with the squad that we have right now, if Mikel Arteta can't get the team over the line, I'm afraid that the owners will have to take action. And that's the best opportunity you're going to have in 3 or 4 year window to win this Premier League for the first time in 20 some years, 22, 23 years. As Mr. Tom says, I still think you're winning it. I agree with him, but football being a low scoring game and the way we're playing right now, it's quite concerning that we are conceding more than a goal a game now. I think it's 1.75 goals in the last month that we've been conceding, and we're not scoring close to even one goal per game. Whereas in the last 4 games, we've lost three of them. The whole season before the Carabao Cup final, we only lost 3 games in about 40. You know, the Assemble said, in my opinion, yesterday's defeat makes the sporting game very difficult. But if Sporting score first, the fans could turn on the manager during the game, making the pressure unbearable. For sure. I mean, we have to almost manage that tie. We have to manage the minutes the players are going to go through. We have to manage 2 competitions in the next week. We have to get past Sporting, and we have to get ready for Man City next Sunday, and that's going to be a big week for the manager Tony.
Imagine if we didn't get the 92nd minute goal.
Yeah, be a 0-0 right now, you know, and some of these things are a little bit scary to me when Mikel Arteta is the guy who's going to be putting the names on the team sheet because he might lean into the fact that we have a 1-0 lead against Sporting. He might lean into the fact that we only need to really draw against City. It's dangerous, right? It's dangerous just to think that way, but he will think that way.
My thinking is that Arteta would still do the same crap and just had them defend instead of not go for it because we've seen him play City far too often where they'll just sit back, sit back, and then get a late draw
Yeah,
per usual. Like
yeah,
you know, I know for the 2 years ago we didn't lose to them, we just drew one game along with the other, and this year it happened again where we conceded one goal early, right? And then Martinelli scored, I believe, in the 89th minute,
yeah,
and we drew. Yeah, at 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, it would have been a win, but a win for them, seeing how we could never beat them, right? Well, at that point, of that year, this year, early on, and I think it was August, I believe.
yeah. August, September, yeah,
Yeah, it was great to get a draw against them, but we should have won that game at home.
yeah,
But because Arteta's tactics or whatever you call that, we should win for it, and we didn't, and that's why they get too comfortable playing like that. hoping for a corner kick, but they gotten so comfortable with that as well that they don't know how to score from open play.
Yeah. The scary thing is that we cannot rely on other teams now. You know, we can't sit back here and watch a Chelsea game. Chelsea play this team, and Chelsea look bang average right now. Um, unable to do anything against the City team aside from a very close offside where they could have gone a goal ahead. Um, there's no way that we're as bad as Chelsea. We are a good team. Manchester City know that they have pretty much a title decider on Sunday, and that's the way Pep has been talking about their situation in the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's been telling his team basically, we can forget about the title if we don't win the games that we have coming up. If we don't beat Chelsea, there's no need to have a press conference because Arsenal are too good right now. There will be, I think we all believe there will be a time where this Arsenal team come out of the funk a little bit. We're in a funk here, and to me, it was created by Mikel Arteta by picking Kepa in the Carabao Cup final. I had talked about the FA Cup being the one competition. Maybe there's a banana skin in. I did mention Southampton being a difficult tie. And we lost to Southampton with very much our second team. But my thoughts were, Tony, that this once we get to the first 11, um, and they did it against Sporting Lisbon, right? They came and put a performance together, didn't play well, didn't perform well, but got the win at Sporting. And my thoughts that they would now go on a run because they must have known the qualities of Bournemouth coming into this game.
Yeah, but the manager doesn't seem to learn from his past mistakes. I mean, you have Norgard under 100 Premier League minutes, not even a full game's worth in the entire season. And like I said, Berta's given him all these tools, but whether it is he didn't like the players that he got, didn't want those players, but you still have to use them no matter what you think of them.
Yeah, he's provided you with the materials to go and win things this season. Aussie Ange E6K evening panel Christian from AFTV predicted Arsenal to beat City 4-0 before the Bournemouth game yesterday. Suddenly his opinion has changed. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to the Etihad and winning 4-0, that's for sure. But I think we can go there, and it'll be a heavyweight contest. And you know what? If you're going to win the league, if you're going to tell yourself that you're worthy champions of England, then you better beat some top teams on the way. We haven't beaten Liverpool. We beat Man United on the opening day this season. We beat Chelsea a couple of times. We won one against Aston Villa. We lost one against Aston Villa. But the real credentials will be you go to one of your rivals and you go there and you win. You win the game, you know. So it's going to be a heavyweight clash next Sunday. I believe the Arsenal team will turn up, but of course Manchester City will be there as well, and they will be ruthless. So the problem is, says the assembled, the tactics, rotation, defense, or rotation, defense over the attack. So rotating the defense over the attack. We've been bringing. I don't know what the mindset really was. Did any of you two believe that Ben White was the solution yesterday?
You know my
Were you
answer.
okay? Were you okay with that? I think you were on Mascara as well as me.
I was okay with that.
Yeah, I just don't
But
think Ben
I,
White should ever be right back. He can't hold up in that position. And
You
again, if you want to play with Ben White in that form and manner, play a back three
Yeah,
instead of getting your defense cut off guard all the time.
yeah. Alonso, Ben White, and Miles Lewis Kelly as your fullbacks.
I mean, this is part of the problem, right? Arteta doesn't rotate enough, and I think that whenever you don't rotate, you're forced now to depend on players that are either, I'm going to say damaged goods because that's not unfair for Ben White, but he hasn't had enough playing time this year to maybe go, maybe be more helpful. Um, and Miles Lewis Kelly hasn't had playing time either, so he hasn't been able to adapt to the way that opponents play us. And now he's forced to be stuck, trying to make things happen on the fly. And it's unfortunate that, again, like Tony always says, doesn't trust his own players enough.
Yeah,
And in case of Ben White, it's unfair because I do like Ben White. So this is a case of, well, Arteta just running him to the ground the past years. He had a major injury last year, so how can you come back from that? And so I think Ben White's been really unlucky. But
yeah,
to say that it's all his fault that we lost both games, all three games, is unfair. And
yeah,
that being said, I think you got to go with what you have. And Arteta's been having to use those players because everyone else is hurt. Now, Mascara could have been played there, of course, but Arteta goes by, veteranship towards youth. And again, that's unfortunate because Arteta has to stop doing that.
yeah.
Or
Um,
experience, maybe. Not veteranship, but experience.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I think there's sometimes where we can like the players, right? So we can like Ben White, but the manager has to protect the player from these situations as well. I think. What do you think was Ben White or Madueke yesterday? The two of them switched off. The ball gets played between the fullback and winger and the defender. Saliba and Gabriel are hung out to dry. They've got to come across. The right back has not dealt with the situation, in my opinion, and the balls come in. Also, Ben White, was defended very poorly in the FA Cup as well for that first goal. He let a ball go in over his head against Southampton for that first goal. Um, to me, Kepa was another failing under Mikel Arteta for me. Sean said, "Hello, gentlemen. We are in crisis mode." Yeah, alarm bells are ringing here over Arsenal fan circle. I had said it right before the Carabao Cup final that if we lose it, it will have windfall for the rest of the season, and that's something that Stan had been going on about as well. If we lose the psychological edge against Manchester City. Now, I don't happen to necessarily believe that because these are professional footballers. This Arsenal team are full of professional footballers, and they should be able to turn up at the Etihad for a big game and know that they have an opportunity to silence all of the banter that Arsenal fans are getting from rival fans, to silence the pundits, and to silence the doubters about what Arsenal can do in terms of this title race. Sean goes on to say Arteta wanted to be uh, quote unquote fair to Kepa and let him play in the final rather than being ruthless and getting us that first trophy in 6 years, which would have given us the confidence to keep winning now. Yeah, definitely. I said that at the outset, at the start of this podcast. Arteta chose one person to be kind to, rather than being ruthless and thinking about the millions of Arsenal fans around the world who would have been happy to see Arsenal lift that trophy. For because we've had such a poor record in
But
the.
it's not like this is a new thing, right? The backup keeper usually gets to play this cup
I know,
competition.
I know, but if you're waiting 6 years for a trophy, and let's just say hypothetically that your job is on the line, you know, this is a manager who's gotten very, very comfortable now.
Does he look like a manager playing for his job, Ray?
No, no, he looks quite comfortable. You know, he looks like a manager who feels that he has the league in his pocket. He doesn't have the league in his pocket just yet, the Premier
He,
League.
he looks confused. Like Sean was saying about his tactics. You know, Bournemouth are a good team. I think they just had some bad luck, but
Um,
their coach has them playing really well,
yes,
and he has them believing in each other,
yes,
and he works with what he has, as does a lot of these mid-table teams.
yes,
But I guarantee you, if you put any other of those managers in on the Arsenal team, they'd win the league.
yes,
Tony had said it earlier, and he brought up an interesting point about Arteta and his tactics. He hasn't learned a lot about himself in the way he plays, and I think that at some point the Cronkies, aka the Cronkies, have to make a decision because they their teams in professional sports have won every single championship
yes,
except for Arsenal. And every one of those coaches are ambitious.
yes,
Now, Texas, I don't know about you guys in the chat or Tony or yourself, Ray, but I don't see that in Arteta. He doesn't have that ambitious trait
talks.
about him.
He talks about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Show it. You need to not just talk about it in interviews. You need to show your ruthlessness. You need to show your tenacity. And
You
don't
know,
just
Tony,
show it in terms of protecting your players, which, yes, he does that very well. He protects his players, but he needs to get the dividend from that. He needs to get some reward from all of that.
and also, if you look at the teams we beat, no offense to Tom, but the only teams we beat were Leeds by a lot
Yeah,
and Tottenham.
yeah,
Well, no offense, but Leeds are like bottom of the table, as are Spurs. They're being relegated this year.
yeah.
Other teams we won, it's always been a 2-1
Close games.
when yeah, exactly. So we don't have that killer instinct. So when I hear these pundits saying we are the worst team and we're leaders of all time because we're not fancy. We're not that killer instinct that
Yeah,
our
I
teachers
mean,
always talk
what
about.
what what we have done, Alonso, uh, the purists don't love it because we have extracted the percentages from the game. We have extracted percentages
Right.
in set piece play, which seems to have gone away from us a little bit. I can't remember the last time we scored a set piece goal. In fact, we were vilified so much for set piece goals that we would highlight, as Arsenal fans, we would highlight, oh, it was an open play goal that we scored against Sporting. Who cares? As a goal, whatever the goal looks like, it's still a goal.
They always used to be listed that way, Ray. It's just like it used to be goals per 90 used to be a thing. But
Yeah. Um, Sean says, watching yesterday's game, it's hard to believe we are the team going for the Premier League title and not Bournemouth. Our tactics are atrocious. Trophy or not, Arteta needs to go at the end of the season. Listen, I'm starting to come around to, I feel that he can get this title over the line for us, but he's going to keep his job in that case. And I'm not saying he needs to get fired, but if we continue to play poor football at the start of next season, I'm not going to be happy with it because, as you rightly said, Alonso, we're not giving ourselves the ability to win a game 3-2. You know, when was the last time we won a game 3-2? I think it was Bournemouth uh,
in the fall
in January,
or whenever.
December,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
We were the last team. We were the last team to beat Bournemouth. We just didn't do it yesterday. Um, and
Just didn't
Sean's
need it
right.
when we needed to, right?
And Sean's right. Bournemouth, we didn't do it when we needed to, Tony. Bournemouth looked like the team. As Stan said, if you bring like an alien down and tell them about football and they watch that game, they'd tell you, oh, Bournemouth's the team that's going for the title, right? You know what I mean? Crazy. Last 3 years, we've not signed a single first team player in January to help us get over the line, and it's cost us as well. Manchester City have turned the trick with Gehi and Semenyo in January, and it's given them an impetus. Yeah, they've drawn. They've drawn. Last month they drew a couple of games against West Ham and against Nottingham Forest. Well, thank God that they dropped the points that they've dropped so far. Um, we're still in control of this thing, but the margin, due to yesterday's defeat, the margin says it's. You could argue whether it's in our own hands or not at this point. It's because it's in Manchester City's hands right now. If they beat us and they win their game in hand against Crystal Palace and home to Crystal Palace, and they score goals as they have been, then goal difference is going to tip in their favor. Um,
Oh, that thing that matters.
Goal
Ray
difference.
tried.
You've been talking about goal difference. Sean says, "How have we spent 1 billion and our tactics have gotten worse year and year? That is the sign of a manager who is scared and out of ideas." To be fair, we spent 1 billion to upgrade the team from the likes of Lichtsteiner, Colonel Mustard, Mustafi, all of those kinds of players that we had 6, 7 years ago. Um,
Avocados. I don't know.
Mavropanos, who was Ozil, Kolasinac, right?
Of not.
Ozil's bodyguard, Kolasinac, those kinds of players. Hawkwind is in the house. How's it going, Hawkwind? Good to see you. Listen, we have quite a few people in the house. Drop your comments about yesterday. There's lots to talk about. Um, the momentum in the title race. Chelsea, Chelsea is such a soft team. Um, Lee Marouzinho is not that guy. Look, we've been patient enough with this manager. He's been given way more time than he deserves. Sure, he may want to win, but I don't think he's capable of doing so. We owe him no loyalty. And there's part of me though. Yesterday, part of me almost goes. The players are on the field to play and put a performance in and win the game. Um, Lee Hamill said there's a strong rumor that they're in negotiations with him about a new contract. If they do that and Arsenal haven't won anything again, I feel the fallout between the board and the fans will be over. Mr. Tom said, if Arteta isn't holding the trophy by the final day, he won't be the gaffer on the opening day of the season. Yeah, I think at that point, Alonso, he'll have had too many chances to do this
We
thing.
already.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you have Berta signing these players to be essentially backups to your starters, and you know, Arteta still picks his favorites. It seems like, and every time I see Odegaard or someone else like Martinelli or Trossard not doing enough to win the game, I don't know where the disconnect is because it seems like every time they're trying to do 20 passes and not scoring enough, and Arteta's forced in to try something new. Therefore, he's trying to play Max Dowman, and Max Dowman's been playing great, but at what point does Arteta say, "Okay, you're just a 16-year-old kid. You know, you gotta relax at some point and understand that you can't depend on him all the time. Make things happen. So it's just really a cluster.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, yeah, the excuse is, well, they're tired. They say, well, this is how you're supposed to play. You're supposed to want to win the game and go for it. But it's just to me, it doesn't seem like they want it, because of the way
Yeah.
they play.
And relying on a 16-year-old to turn your season around, that's not where we should be at this point in the season.
And that's how I see it.
Gary, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Sorry I was
Thanks for-
late.
No worries.
It was,
Thanks for joining. What are your thoughts, Gary? Lay it out there.
Thoughts on what? Is it a specific thing or just in general?
We can start with general.
Well, it's nice and sunny here, but it's cold outside. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. That's a metaphor for the season, right?
Yeah, it's clear blue skies, but I'm freezing when I step outside. So
Every
yeah.
time we step outside, there's a cloud that follows us, and it rains down on us, Gary.
Yeah. No, I was actually on another channel. I didn't know I was going to go that long. We were kind of doing a little watch along with the game, so praying for something good to happen. Of course, not expecting it, but just hoping. But didn't happen. But
The life.
yeah,
of
no,
a-
I the last 3 watch-alongs that I've done, I kind of been sitting there basically sometimes speechless because I'm not seeing anything that I hadn't seen before, So I kind of feel like we're watching reruns of the same thing and then expecting it to look different. Some people get upset by it, and
Somebody said that earlier in the show.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like, tell me something new, Arteta.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's not doing that. He's not doing something new. So yeah, it's a 50-50 now whose league it is.
Yeah.
Whoever once again, whoever won the the FL Cup would have a good run afterwards, and so far that's been the case for City. Once again, we have another test next Sunday. Whoever gets that win will have the upper hand, right? So if Arteta's going to win one game this season, it's got to be that City match.
Yeah, but
Sunday.
It can be
what
done.
he'll
but,
do. He'll play not to lose it and lose it.
Yeah. And draw.
No, a draw helps us, but a win is what you want to do. You want to grab this trophy with both hands, not one hand, because somebody else might have a hand on it as well.
Yeah, a win is a knockout punch. A draw is a win on points. If we can see this thing out.
Yeah.
A loss is scary. A loss is like it's in the lap of the gods now. You know what I mean?
So if we draw, right?
If we draw, there'll be still 6 points.
Yeah, so we'll win it. Yeah, we'll win it. We just have to win out, and we'll be fine.
Yes.
So
even they'd have a game in hand. Alonso, yeah.
But if we win, then we don't have to win all of our games. We have to win 4 out of the 5, as opposed to pretty much keep pace with City. So
if we win, we basically could have a 2-game advantage. If we win,
we have to win them all. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Alonso, what do you got?
No, I was just gonna say that it's not. It used to be comical, but I was watching Gary and Ryan's watch along on Ryan's channel, and Gary does his little play-by-play analysis. It's pretty cool. But I didn't watch the game yesterday on USA Network because I just had Peacock. But I could see Gary's facial expressions and how Ryan and Gary were upset whenever we lost that game yesterday. And I was like, this is why we don't win the league, because our Arteta's formation is tactics, and like Tony had said and I said, that we will play City to defend and go for a draw at best. And at what point does Arteta figure out that that's not how you win a league? and it's frustrating as an Arsenal fan for a long time now. This is our best chance to win the league, but we don't create enough chances for themselves to do something that's worth saying, "Wow, we did that against a big team like City." So in the back of my mind, it's always concerning that we'll do the same thing on next Sunday and saying, "Well, this is part of the problem now."
Yeah. On Gary's show yesterday, check it out, guys. Yeah, Gary reminded me that we're going to be limping into this Manchester City fixture on the back of another poor set of results, which has been kind of the lead up to every Manchester City run-in title in the last significant years. Maybe not last year because they weren't around last year. Liverpool, funny, Liverpool went on challenge to a league win, but last at least 2 or 3 times in the last 3 or 4 years, it's been we lose to a couple of teams and then we face Manchester City. And on those occasions, they've not been good occasions. We lost 4-1 basically, but we have this season. We do have a squad that we can lean on if we can allow the handbrake to be released a little bit by Mikel Arteta. And if only it was that easy, right? If only he would say to them, "Okay, now you're allowed to go score goals. You're allowed to go create chances, and you're allowed to bother the opposition." I wish it was just that easy, but there's a lot of things ingrained in this Arsenal team that the signature of the manager is there,
Yeah,
plain, plain and simple to see, right? The DNA, and they say that a lot. People say the team is a reflection of the manager's um, mentality or DNA. So there's a lot that will be revealed in the next week um, in terms of Arteta's future at Arsenal in the next coming years. Because this season, above all, he's got to bring home the trophy, at least one trophy. You know, um, I thought we would have a cup to go with it as well, but again, in my opinion, he chose the sentiments of one squad player over the sentiments of millions of Arsenal fans around the world. Um, and we do have a big following. Arsenal does have one of the biggest followings in the Premier League. Um, yeah, just disconcerting. Sean said Doku's, and this is the thing, we're giving oxygen. We're giving oxygen to City and their players. You know, they're talking about us before they go training every day. They're talking about us. Doku's post-match interview just shows that we don't command any respect or fear. I didn't see the interview, but I can imagine how it's going. Like footballers will bring out the same platitudes, the cliches, but they kind of believe it as well when it comes to this battle with Arsenal that they're going to be facing. Turkey's keepy ups in the Carabao Cup final just shows how much teams disrespect us, and we haven't deserved it. They earned the right. He earned the right to showboat a little bit.
You got to shut up. You got to shut him up.
Got to shut him up.
If you don't shut them up, then it doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.
They could be doing something that's really just not cool and stuff like that, but you got to shut them up. The only way you do that is on the pitch.
Maybe Martinelli's got to be the one next Sunday that's doing the keep you uppies.
We need to do something different.
Yeah.
Just give me something different. I don't want to see the same thing. Because when it's not working.
Alonzo, I'll let you get out of here. I've just seen your message, so you got to go, right?
yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you, Tony, Ray, and Gary.
Yep.
Good conversation. Good conversation today. Everyone in the chat, have a good day. Let's go Flyers. Let's go Chase Briscoe.
Who do you like? Are you watching the golf later?
Yeah.
Who do you like?
Jason Spieth.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna hope the McElroy can continue his work. Take care, Alonzo. Thanks.
You guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Mr. Tom, I'd like to believe that, but I'm not sure this is actually a footballing decision anymore. Says the assembled. Just catch up on a few comments here. Yesterday we were a shower of shit. Can't argue with that. It was I was annoyed. I was frustrated, um, disappointed. We had an opportunity playing at home, and we knew the team. We knew that the talent of the team that was coming in. That was a team that was on a long unbeaten run. It was a team that scared us in at their home patch in January, and we were the only team that had beaten them up until they met us on that run. Yes, gentlemen, but we actually won the FA Cup with that team that we spent all the money to replace them with. So I have a little thing about that. I mean, if you're an average team, you should be willing to go for the FA Cup. If you're not the best team in the land, you should be aiming for the FA Cup. And Gary, yes, we should be aiming when we're the best team in the land. We should be aiming for the FA Cup as well. But we set our sights higher, and we spent the money to get there. And we're at this crossroads. I guess it's a crossroads now in the managerial story of Mikel Arteta. The players will be there. These Arsenal players will still be there next season, aside from
Maybe.
a few who are going to get moved on. I mean, you can't sell the whole team. Sometimes you want to do that, right? You'd like to start over. Uh, Again, the most comments after the Arsenal loss, what a time to be alive. Yeah. No matter how many comments I get, I'm always behind. Right, Gary?
Yes,
You
sir.
could have two and you'd still be two behind.
I see. I didn't say that, but I definitely back up Tony on this one. Yeah.
Yes. There's not many things you two agree on, but that could be it. And sometimes it's good to talk, right? When we lose, we lose. We did this 6, 7 years ago. We were a bad team 6, 7 years ago.
That's
Now
crazy, right? Where we come from, and you know what? The pain is the same. You know what? The pain's the same.
Actually feels a bit. Yeah, it feels a bit more when they don't perform. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. So like we win games and we don't perform, and it doesn't. We're like in the past we didn't play well and lost. Now we don't play well. And we sometimes win, or we win most of the time.
Yeah.
And but it hurts. It hurts, and this
It's
is
been this
it's
last
been a
month.
painful month.
It's been tough, right? This last month, the cup final. I could write off the FA Cup if we won the cup final. I could compartmentalize the FA Cup because we're going well in Champions League, City or not in the Champions League, and we have a great opportunity in the Premier League.
Yeah, but that's probably a good thing for them.
Good thing for City. Yeah, I mean if they go on and win at least the FA Cup, which I hope they don't do, they'll look at the season as a positive for them. Our board hasn't moved past the mentality of top four as a trophy, and here we are with rumors of Arteta getting a new contract when it's entirely undeserved.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they
I would like.
also
Go ahead.
it was in I think it was December, January. They said that he had to either win the Champions League or Premier League to keep his job. But why are you sitting down holding talks at all if you're not going to meet those criteria yet?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say we like Arsenal should be. Somebody should at Arsenal should be saying we're not talking about contracts right now. We've got a season.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a season right now, trying to win as many trophies as we can. We got to. We don't really have time to be talking. Like, there's no reason to be talking about a contract for Arteta. He shouldn't be thinking that that's what's being said, because that means he can't concentrate on the job at hand, which is to finish the season on a high, right? So the fact that it's going, and the fact that Arsenal hasn't said anything, says to me that maybe they are doing that, and like the ramifications of him getting a contract extension and then not winning a trophy. What are you saying? What are you saying? What is that message?
Yeah.
It's not a good message.
Is the contract on the table for a reward for what you have done, or is it a reward for what you're about to do? You know what I mean? It should be. Let's wait and see. And if you win something, then you can get rewarded. You know, as in like players' bonuses if they win the Champions League or win a Premier League. Here's a good one. Yeah, Raya received 38 passes yesterday. Supermendy and Rice lost possession of the ball a combined 29 times yesterday. We weren't even doing the basics right. The passing was atrocious. We were missing players, and I started with the podcast by talking about Declan Rice breaking halfway through the first half and trying a very difficult pass outside of the right foot through the center for Gyökeres. When he had Martinelli on the left and he had Madueke on the right, um, do the basics first. When you're struggling, you got to get back to basics. You know, Alonso, we've had multiple opportunities to pull clear of City in January and February, but wasted them. Says really, this is we've extended our lead over City between December and now it's starting to get reeled in a little bit. Um, Squeaky bum time, is that what they call it? We generally win after a loss. Hopefully, next week we'll keep it going. Yeah, I mean, it would be very, very damaging if we put two losses together to
We've
follow
already
the
done that.
Bournemouth game.
We've
Yeah,
lost, not in the
and
league, but we've lost
yeah,
2 games in a row
yeah,
already, and that's the problem with this month. We've only
yeah.
played 4 and we've lost 3. So
And some would say we were lucky to get the win in Lisbon. And
yeah, we didn't need it, but it was supposed to be a hopefully a jump start to something, and it didn't
yeah,
jump start to anything.
didn't you really think that, Gary, that they beat Lisbon? Now we could go into the Bournemouth game and uh, get some kind of momentum going in the league again. Lead,
Yeah, that would have
especially
been
in
nice.
leading. The narrative of 12 would have been 12 points going into today with City playing their game against Chelsea, and they would have had to win to get it back to 9 points. Now it's a huge swing. They'll say it could have been 12, and now it's 6. And there's nothing we can say about that.
We can say plenty, but we can't do nothing about it.
No, and that's the life of a supporter, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you have Spurs that are in 18th, and we can't even make fun of them right now.
I mean, it's a very, very small highlight in our weekend. Injuries is a perfect excuse for failure. If only the players could be burned out with no repercussions for terrible squad rotation. Yeah, nobody can speak about injuries. This no Arsenal fan can speak about injuries. Andrea Berta went out and got you numerous options for your team, numerous options this summer. You know, and if you have to choose to use them. And in the cold light of the end of the season, we'll look back and review some things. Some things are over now in history, but mistakes have been made. Arteta's won one game in the month of April since becoming manager. Our win percentage in April is 41% over the last 6 years. Yeah, they mentioned that on the coverage today as well. That the record of Mikel Arteta's record in April is very poor, and Pep Guardiola's record in April is really good. So when you have those two things happening, Arsenal not winning in April and City winning in April, the advantage we talked about is being eroded away. Welcome, Stan.
Hey, Stan.
Morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone.
So, how we feeling, Stan? Might as well just dive into it. We won't stay too much longer, 20, 30 minutes more, but how you feeling about the whole landscape now, you know?
Well, we don't look like a team, or we're not playing football like a team that has an opportunity to win big things this season.
Yeah.
I mean, as I understand it, the XG for that game is the second lowest that we've had at home ever in the Premier League. So, I mean, where does that come from? I mean, as I've said before, those seasons in the past where we were finishing second, and even when we finished a point behind, I never felt that we was going to win the league, just because I didn't think that we had enough reinforcements to see the job through. And we were supposed to have rectified that this season with the signings that we made. But it just looks like some of the signings aren't up to the job. And we haven't shared the minutes enough. And we now have players that are important, either injured or looking like they've already run into the ground. So, the game yesterday where I live kicked off at 4:30. And I thought to myself on Friday evening, am I really going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and put the kettle on and, get some toast? And it ruins my whole day when I get up that early. And I just thought to myself, no, because deep down I knew that when I woke up at my regular time, say 9, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and I looked at my phone, I would see that we'd lost that game. So where does that feeling come from? I should be jumping for joy, and I should be like, can't wait to see the next game and see the lead, the lead that we have get increased. And I think if I feel like that, I think some of the players probably feel like that. They're not looking forward to the next game. They're like, oh, I just wish this was all over now. Why do we have to go through another game? Because they know that they're stinking up the place. And I think a lot of this all has to come down to the manager and his coaching staff and the way that they're handling the minutes for this team. It's just not good enough. I mean, I still want to have hope, right? Because I support this team. And I still want to have hope that at the end of the season that we're going to have something to show for it. But deep down, what I think I'm actually seeing is one of the biggest collapse that I think I've seen in I don't know how long. And that tag that we always get labelled with, bottlers, I mean, it's hard to deny that. It's hard to not feel that that is the case and that we deserve this.
Yeah.
The way that we're playing and the way that we're handling these games. And just to finish my point, I made a big deal about saying how I felt that if we weren't able to get anything out of that Carabao Cup final, that I think that it would destroy our season and doubt would start to creep into the players. And I don't think that they're looking forward to going to the Etihad. They're not jumping for joy and already getting their seats on the coach. I'm going to sit by the window. We're not sitting in this seat. I'm saying we can't wait to get up there. No, they're probably shitting themselves of going up there because the doubt has now crept in. And I don't think that we're going to get anything out of the game against Man City because our superpower was defence. It's always been our superpower. And we're starting to lose that superpower now. And I don't see us being able to go to the Etihad and score 2-3 goals. Who's going to score them? The way that we're playing, we're lucky. We're not even scoring from set pieces anymore.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do? Go up there and hope it's a 0-0 draw. Is that how we're going to try and win the league?
Yeah, it's difficult to know where these goals are going to come from. Yesterday we had a penalty that was dispatched quite nicely by Gyökeres, but other than that, I only remember a Kai Havertz header that went over the bar, which he should have done better with. And then somehow late in the game, we see Gabriel as like in the number 9 position, our defender up there, almost getting on the end of the ball as well. Those are the only two or three opportunities that I remember from yesterday's game. So, very legitimate question that Stan has posed. Where do we see the goals coming from?
It's hard. It's hard to score from set pieces when we decide we're gonna go short on like half of them.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that all about? What is that all about? Like,
there's
are we going short on the corners? You have Gabriel who's in the game, and we're going short on it. All right, I know.
So maybe our set piece maestro Nicholas Jover has gotten the Arteta bug a little bit and started to overthink his own set piece instructions for the players. As you said, Gary, play the ball into the box. Do what we were doing before this season at the start of the season. Sean said, how can we say that we've set our sights higher when we haven't even delivered one trophy? Winning any single trophy should be the priority before winning the bigger ones. Yeah, and as Stan said, and he was calling this out before the cup final. If we didn't have the impetus of winning the cup final, it could have an effect in the weeks after. And we're sort of living through that a little bit now, I think. The call from Stan, as well. Like, go ahead, Tony. Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with that, though. Just the players are dog tired, and it's showing.
Well, where's that mentality? Stan's calling for the mentality of a Lee Dixon or a Tony Adams, who went to Anfield on that night in 1989 when it seemed impossible to go into the Lions' Den and win. Where's that mentality now? I mean, and I think some of our players will have the fire in the belly, but some may shirk the occasion as well. It might be too much for them, some of them.
Yeah. I doubt if Tony Adams was pushing 5,000 minutes.
Yeah, true.
But you know what? He probably was pushing close to that end relative to how the football's played and how, the number of games and all of that. So for that time, it was a lot of minutes, right? Subs weren't coming out every game.
There wasn't as many subs, yeah.
So you're playing pretty much all the way through. So and like if you watch those old games, you'll see the ball's constantly moving. All right, even if it's going back to the goalkeeper, it's constantly moving.
Pitches were heavier.
Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Right now, these guys get enough time to walk around on the pitch sometimes in between, set pieces and ball going on a bounce and all that stuff. So,
what you're seeing, and what we're seeing is players taking. We know when it's a throw in. We know it's going to take 25 seconds for the ball to come back into play. But the player's got to walk. It's almost like a predetermined. They're counting time in their head, as the referee's going to allow it. We know when there's a goal kick. We don't want to be in a situation where we're 2 goals down and it gets into the 90th minute, and there's a goal kick. Well, you're going to lose 2 minutes just from the keeper trying to kick the ball out. But
I mean, it's easy on the throw-ins because somebody's got to pick it up, throw the ball behind them. Somebody else is going to go pick up the ball, throw the ball down. Then somebody else is going to pick it up and try to throw it in. They might even step across the line and have a foul throw-in, which I never remember before Arteta coached.
The other thing,
I never remember that happening.
Another thing, one of the pundits saying that Mikel Arteta is making the occasion too big. Was there a call there to bring your pack, bring everything, eat your breakfast, bring your lunch? What was that all about from Arteta?
This also permeated into the stadium because hearing from people that were there, the person that does the PA system, it was really over the top. Come on, everybody. Let's all have a big voice for the running of for the end of the season. And at halftime it was like, come on everyone, get back to your seats. We've got a big 45 minutes ahead. Let's make some noise. And it's like, you don't have to tell everybody to make noise and to be enthusiastic, because if you're seeing good stuff on the pitch, that's going to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
That will happen naturally. You don't have to force it.
They didn't pipe that message into the locker room because I think the players didn't hear that message to come back out after halftime. They didn't get that message. That's why we saw the football we saw. They forgot to tell the players.
Yeah.
Arteta was telling us to come out there, bring your lunch pail, bring your lunches, bring your breakfast, and he forgot to tell the players. Guess what, guys? We got to do the same thing because they did not bring any. What did they bring?
Not a lot.
What did they bring?
Nothing. No passing, no goal attempts outside of long-range shots. Not winning the duels, right? These are the things I said yesterday on your show, Gary. Not winning the duels. And you forget. Even a day later, you kind of like, if you want to survive mentally, you have to kind of sometimes forget the performances and say, oh well, been that weekend. That was not a good weekend, but yet we must have had good weekends because we're still 6 points ahead of City, having to play the game more. we must have had some good weekends. But here we come to an April and May, where these are the months where you really need to prime your squad to get the most out of them. It, there's different ways to this thing, and Pep Guardiola seems to start slow through the season and then they build, and we maybe have not perfected that yet. Sean says, Stan, your background is what kills me. Our last European triumph was the year I was born, 1994. There will be a few twists and turns to come. This this is true. We don't love it. I don't love having to wait another 7 days to feel a little bit more certain about our um, winning the league. If we'd have won yesterday and kept pace with what City did today, I'd feel a little bit better of maintaining a 9 point gap and another round of games gone. You know, this is the most embarrassed I've ever felt being an Arsenal fan. I watched Arsenal from 1972. Yeah, I mean, there is a sense that this Manchester City side has elevated the requirements to win the league. Alec Ferguson used to win league titles in the last 20 years, um, in the 80s, high 90s, high 70s and 80s. But Pep Guardiola and he's recognized as one of the best coaches. Right, he's able to extract 90 points from a lot of his City teams. I don't think it'll be 90 points this season. We're looking at mid to high 80s though.
City has shown that you use the January window to get that bump ahead that you need. Right?
Yeah.
You need a little bit something extra. The January window is giving you that, and the last two January windows, Arsenal said, "Now we're all right. We're all right." And
Yeah.
after January, we either lose a player or two around the window, and we pay for it because of it. Like I don't understand the logic. Like last January, we bring in a striker, maybe things are different. This time around, Saka isn't 100%. Erdegaard isn't 100%. Havertz isn't 100%.
I mean, you're right.
Going into the January window.
No Marino.
Definitely, you're right. I mean,
Marino wasn't 100%. So you got four of your players that are supposed to help in your attack, and we go, that's all right. Guess what? And we're not going to play you anyway, so we'll loan you out. Right?
You read my mind, Gary.
Like I want Nweri. I love that kid. I call for minutes for him every game.
Yeah.
And Arteta, I believe, was like, Berta, I'm not going to use him. Let him go on loan.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that if the process is we'll bring in somebody to replace him, right? We don't do that either. We just hope. Like if you listen to Arteta, he's always reacting. We're gonna get it better next time. We're gonna have players come back tomorrow. He's always thinking about even if they come back, they're not gonna be ready.
The other thing Arteta says is he tries to learn from his mistakes. He analyzes.
Sorry, did I just blurt that out loud and start laughing? Can he bring in a sub at halftime in a cup final? Because guess what, your fullback's got a yellow and he won't defend anymore.
Yeah.
Will he do that? No.
That's what he says.
Did you listen? One of the reporters there listened to the press conference and just blasted out laughing as Arteta's talking.
The other thing Sean says here, our mentality is evident in the fact that Arteta wanted to be fair to Kepa. Yeah, I think one of the most singular big mistakes, I believe, in the last month. The fact that Odegaard is our captain, we haven't had a proper captain since Tony Adams, maybe Fabregas. I mean, there is a certain part of the fabric of the club that it's too generous. It needs to be a little bit more ruthless. I do wonder if he remember in the documentary when you go out of the FA Cup in the third round to Nottingham Forest, how pissed off Arteta was. You do wonder if he's been like that recently, shouting at them. You know what I mean?
I don't want to see.
What's
And
that?
that's also to look at some of our players as well. I mean, what is the deal with Martin Zubimendi? He looked like he was going to start crying yesterday. You know, we're in the middle of a game and you've got players consoling him, and it's like they're not concentrating on the game now because they're worried about this one guy who looks like he's going to start balling. I
I
mean,
thought that was it. Was that at the end of the game or when they scored?
when they scored, we're supposed to be, you know, in a title race, so we're supposed to be, you know, have total application to make everything of every game, and we're having to
Oh, that reminds me. That
we're having
reminds
to
me of
manage people like Zubimendi in the game, and then I watch another player like Madueke, and it's just like I like the way that he's very direct. He has a direct mindset, but I mean, how many more times is he just going to run the ball out of play? I mean, he can't even keep the ball on the pitch, man. It's ridiculous. I look at Kai Havertz, who I waxed lyrical about on the last show about his game, his goal against Sporting, which was a very good goal.
Yeah.
But we don't see it enough. And I'm like, for someone that's our highest paid player, what is his actual position? What is his position in the team? Where does he play the best? Because I don't know where this guy is supposed to be playing. Because he's playing at a 10 and he doesn't look all that. He plays as a striker. He's not consistent. But what is this? Do we have a formation that doesn't actually accommodate our highest paid player? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but we've switched to a 4-2-3-1, and that would have been with him in mind.
Him or stuff. Yeah.
Right. It's probably we didn't have there was no Eze to play in that 10 role. There was no Odegaard to play in that 10 role. There's no Saka even to play there. So maybe he's the fourth choice to play in that role. But then but he's supposed to be Mikel Arteta's man. You know, the money that we paid for him and the money that we're paying him each week for this bit part player that doesn't have a nailed on position in the squad. None of it is starting to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to give up. I mean, I'm cross and I'm really pissed off about it, but the season isn't finished yet. But if you were said to me, like, you know, go and get all your savings out of the bank and put a bet on them whether you think that we're going to win the league, I'd be like, you must be crazy. No way. There's no way I'm gonna waste my savings on that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. We do not look like a team that is playing for the big trophies, because we're talking about how tired the players look. Tiredness only doesn't affect you when you're winning. You can't wait for the next game. You know, you want to play every game, but these players, it looks like it's just too much for them. Where does this mindset come from?
Yeah.
You know, we're supposed to be in the driving seat, and it's just all slowly collapsing and dwindling away.
You see a City team that have worn down Chelsea after a good first half and a lot of pressure at the beginning of the second half. They get the goal. Then they score a second one through a great piece of play from Cherki and Gay. And then finally, Caicedo, it gets crowded out. That's a team they've just bulldozed Chelsea in the second half.
And City going into today, City has to win, I believe, 3 games in a row in the league to put pressure on us.
Yeah,
we just have to win one now. We just have to win one. They've won their first one, so now they still got to win 2. We got to just win one, the next one, right? We win the next one, that takes a lot of pressure off of us, because that's a 6-pointer right there, right? You go from 6 points to 9 points, and no matter what they do in the midweek, the best they can do is 6 points at that point. All right. So it's very important. Like, there's no, like, if you're talking like, okay, Arteta, you tried out the EFL Cup final and you didn't bring it there. You didn't come with the best plan. You didn't make the right subs. You didn't have the right lineup, all that stuff. All right. Take 2. All right. Take 2 at the Etihad.
Yeah.
Best 11 that you can put out there. Make sure you got the subs set up and a game plan, and expect either a low block or a high press, whatever. You know, it's
It's
something's
going to be a
coming,
high press. It's going to be a high press again.
Oh, because we haven't answered that one now. We couldn't answer the low block, and then City's like, guess what, guys? They can't handle the high press anyways. Why are you letting a low block for? Right?
Yeah, we
Now
couldn't handle it against Bournemouth.
Everybody's got 4 to 6 players on our side of the pitch when we got the ball. We have no answer. Like Arteta, it's you have to be able to adjust whatever they do. Right? This is your final, your Champions League final. All right, nothing else to play for. The seasons could be done for if you don't get the win. Right?
Job can be on the line. Michael Arteta's job can be on the line next Sunday. This is your credentials.
We just had that in the Carabao Cup final. You got 90 minutes to play one game. You can't play for a draw. And at the end of that game, if you win your first big trophy.
Yeah.
And we were unable to do that. So I don't see how we're going to go to the Etihad and expect to get anything out of it. Because if you look at the attacking players from City today, from Doku on the left, Semenyo on the right, Cherki as a 10, and Haaland playing through the middle. Mm-hmm. Tell me one player who plays in any of those positions on our team that could walk into that City team. There are none. None. Every single one of those players would be able to walk into this Arsenal squad and keep that player in that position out of the side. Every single one of them. And that is really worrying.
It is worrying.
The defence that we had, it's gone. It's not working anymore. And you see David Raya get the ball, and there's no one shoving for the ball. Nobody wants the ball. He gets the ball, he passes the ball out to someone. What do they invariably do? They give it back to him. I don't want it. You can have it back, mate. Oh, I ain't doing anything. You don't put the responsibility onto me, David. You got to do something with it. He's a goalkeeper. What's he supposed to do? Sprint up the pitch and dribble past everybody?
Yeah.
He could just boot it 70 yards up the pitch.
There's been no plan.
That way. We're not allowed to play that way because Mikel Arteta wants us to try and keep possession, even if it means we're messing around with it in our own half, in and around our own penalty area, and drawing more pressure onto us by not getting the ball out.
When you lose the Carabao Cup final, you should have a watch through of what happened afterwards. You should look at the video and you should say, okay, this is what they did to us, and the next game that we see this, whether it's Southampton doing it or Bournemouth doing it or City doing it, this is how we're going to counteract it. There needs to be a plan put in place by Mikel Arteta because he's going to see those 4 players facing up to his.
Arteta is not going to fall for that trick. Just because City did it, guess what? Bournemouth is not going to do it, right? Arteta's not falling for that trick, right? City did it, but no, Bournemouth isn't going to do it because they didn't even watch the game.
we saw it. It happened.
What you're saying there, Ray, is that you look at the video after the loss in the Carabao Cup and you look at it to see where did we go wrong, and you analyse it so that you don't make those mistakes again. But then what does the manager do in the FA Cup game? He picks the backup keeper again. So he ain't learnt nothing. No matter how many times he's watched that tape, he was still happy enough to give Kappa a game. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. We're going to face this next Sunday. Like they are going to press us. Those 4 players that Stan mentioned, they're going to face up against our fullbacks and our centre backs, and they're going to challenge David Raya and those 4 players to be able to play through the gaps to Declan Rice and Zubamendi, who need to be able to break the press or play through the press. You know. Something that maybe they haven't been able to do to their best ability. And yes, we're going to probably have a couple of players back from injury as well, which may help. Midweek, we need to put Sporting Lisbon to the sword. We need to have a performance and a bunch of goals to make us feel good about Sunday as well, I would believe. You know, you don't think so? And the passing back from David Raya. Guess what? David Raya went long when it got into the 90th minute. David Raya was kicking the ball long then. You better believe he was trying to there was no urgency in the team yesterday. We didn't seem to have the urgency or the impetus in us
I'm
to
gonna have
want
to
to
go.
go and win the game. All right, Gary.
Gary.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Ray, Tony, Stan, Alonzo,
Cheers, Gary.
everybody in the chat. I'll check with you guys later. Thanks.
Thank you.
All the best.
Well, Gary.
Yep.
We'll get through a few comments, and then I don't think we should stay too much longer anyway. Arteta is the third highest paid manager in the world, 16 million a year. No trophies to show for it. We're considering giving him a new contract. Serious questions will have to be asked if we don't get over the line. We've got enough. We've built up enough of a buffer to be able to get over the line. And City have to win out, right? Arsenal do enough to be in the conversations, one of the top teams, but not enough to be their top team. That's the difference. And maybe
I still have a hard time believing that when 3 or 4 months ago it came out that he had to win either the league or win the Champions League to keep his job, and he would be let go. So,
right, you didn't believe you don't believe the ownership will be that ruthless. That's what you're saying.
They have to be.
Yeah, but you don't believe that they will be, Tony. Right?
They have to. With the tools, you hire a football director, but you have more tools than you ever have, and it's probably one of the worst Arteta's coaching jobs this season. Even though we're still in first place, but he definitely hasn't managed his resources very well at all.
We like scenarios here, Stan. So Mikel Arteta doesn't get over the line. You're Josh Kroenke.
Well, I would imagine that the ownership are speaking also to the sporting director and saying to him, what do you think what do you think about what's going on? And how do we not know that the sporting director has some of the same concerns that we do when we talk in these podcasts?
Yes.
We spent money to strengthen the team and to give the manager more. And I don't believe that some of these players have been given enough minutes and it's been spread around, thus leading to key injuries. Things like this, I mean, if he's going to be, he's not best mates with Mikel Arteta, he's just doing his job. And you'd like to think that if he's being asked, he's going to be honest about what he's seeing. How much more investment is the ownership willing to give to the same person without seeing any results other than that first FA Cup in the first season? Before a lot of investment had even been made, right? We were supposed to be able to build on that, and a lot of money has been spent. And maybe you get to a stage where you just think to yourself, this ain't the guy. This isn't the guy. We've tried to give this guy as much autonomy as he wanted. We've changed him from being the head coach to the manager. We've allowed him to shape this club into his image. We've allowed him to go to Chelsea and drop over 50 million on a couple of players. We've made one of them the highest paid player. We've given this guy all of the reins to do what he wants. We've not put any restrictions on him, but we ain't getting anything back.
Yeah.
But that's what I'd be starting to think if we get to the end of this season and there's nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Why would you continue? As much as you might like the guy, as much as he might be pleasant conversation around the dinner table, might have a good outward demeanor and is nice to be around, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And these owners have a big, this isn't their only project. They have a very big sporting portfolio in other sports, and they've already started to see, those other investments bearing fruit. But this one, which is supposed to be quite a big one in the game of soccer, as they would call it, it's not happening. You get to our first final, and you decided to play not your strongest team against the team. It's not like we were playing a team from a league below us, and you think, okay, we can afford to have a bit of a gamble. You've got to make a statement here, because this is the team that's been keeping us out of the trophies for the last how many seasons? You've got to make a point against that team. because you're going to be facing them in a few weeks' time, and they got it all wrong.
Yeah.
And if I was the owners, I'd be looking at these things. Obviously, if we win stuff, then you have to say, okay, he got us over the line. Maybe this is the way that we have to. This kind of pragmatic football is the way that we have to go for a little bit longer. You can make those kind of excuses, but if we win nothing, I find it very difficult how he keeps his job. And apparently, there was an article from the Metro that I was reading in bed this morning, and they were saying that Mikel Arteta keeps his job apparently, but only on a couple of conditions, and those conditions is that he wins something this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether these reports are true or not. Metro usually, is pretty good with their reporting, but it does. If we are to believe that, then Mikel Arteta is under pressure at the moment.
They have to be thinking sometimes the way the fans are thinking. Okay, but they can let it go for a season or two. But we're at 6 seasons right now.
We've got 6 games to go in the league. Is it 6 games?
6 games.
6 games to go in the league. If you're the owners and you're watching it, you're like, we're 9 points ahead. We're
6 now.
We've got 6. Yeah, well, before the final whistle, right? I'm talking about just before the final whistle. We're 9 points ahead. We are also doing quite well in the Champions League, and yet our fans are leaving the stadium early. What's that all about?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the atmosphere that's been created, where we're supposed to be running to the end of the season to lift the trophy. 6 games to go, and fans don't like what they're seeing. They're leaving the stadium. That is a concern.
Some boos as well, Stan. We heard some.
Well.
You could hear it. Sean said, not only have we not signed anyone in January the last 3 seasons, but we signed players and not used them. Norgard, as an example. We are also considering selling one area, Miles Lewis Kelly. Talked about the January window. Man City did that. We could have gotten Ollie Watkins for an extra 20 million 18 months ago, 16 months ago. And he would have been able to help us more than Gabriel Jesus did in the last year.
Yeah, but if they spent that money, would they have gone out and bought Gyökeres as well? I don't think so, because they would have, Mikel Arteta probably would have felt that we were over encumbered in that position. Well, we've got Havertz, Marino can play there, Gabriel Jesus, If we bring in Ollie Watkins, why do we go and buy someone else?
Well,
I'm not saying that is the right or wrong decision and that Gyökeres is the saviour, but I just think that would have been the mentality of it. We wouldn't have got both. Right?
The club has to be thinking about continual investment to continue competing for the league, and especially the Champions League at the highest level.
We're almost paying $500,000 a week to Gabriel Jesus and Havertz if you combine the salaries. It's not far off $500,000 a week, and those 2 players, they're not doing it right. They're not star players. They're not acting like that kind of a caliber of a player. So if you're the ownership, you're like, you're looking at all of the money that's going out every week, and you're thinking, what's going on here? What is actually going on here, man? Do you know what I mean? We're spending all this dough, and the players that are our highest paid players, they're either continually not fit, or when they are fit, they're ghosting in games.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just about to say that what BX said. This is not sustainable.
We all knew this wasn't sustainable. Well, I mean, keep winning. We have to keep winning.
I don't want to say this, but I do feel deep down, honestly, at the moment. I mean, I want us to have hope, and to the end of the season, but looking at it right now where we stand today, I don't think that we win anything. If this continues to be the way that this is going to be the kind of football that we're going to serve up to the end of the season, even if we manage to squeak past Sporting, with the other teams that are left, I don't fancy our chances of getting further than that next
We
round.
need to
And get through to that next round.
we need to. So I think in the last month we've sort of tried to get by, as somebody has said, without the injuries that we have in those positions. Right back being one of those positions, maybe Odegaard, definitely Saka. You know, so our right side has really been hurting in the last few weeks. Like we've had Madueke and we've had Ben White deputized for Timber and Saka, and we've seen the difference down the right, especially.
Yeah, but you can put a guy in that position if they're subbing them off at 20 minutes to go or 30 minutes to go. He still hasn't learned how to manage their minutes.
Yeah. With the way
And you have, well, what's your excuse with Norgard? Not even 90 minutes in the Premier
No
League,
excuse.
not one full game.
There is no excuse that Norgard couldn't be played more. There's a sneaking feeling. There's something nagging, and Stan said he just had to say something. Well, I've got to say something as well. If Norgard had been playing in Zubimendi's position, I feel like Norgard would have taken the professional foul and taken the player out at the edge of the box as he's going through on goal. You know, the Bournemouth player. Because Zubimendi's behind the play. I think Norgard would have taken him out in that situation.
Did Norgard do anything in the FA Cup to tell the manager that you can rely on me?
He was tidy, he was solid, you know, but he is a number 6, so I don't think he's going to excel. You know what I mean? As a 6, you just do your job, right? You play neat and tidy football. Yeah, I don't think he was brilliant, but the team around them wasn't great, and you're not going to stand out. Maybe if you
but you
around you doing it.
You've seen Zubimendi finally get tired. He was the one player I would comment during the first 2/3 of the games. He never looked tired. But now he looking haggard like everybody else.
And you got to understand it's his first season. It's his first season in English football as well. So
but you could also say this is my first season in English football, and I'm playing in a team that's 9 points ahead in the league. And you'd be playing out your skin. You'd be like, I'm going to be in the Premier League in my first season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're going to be, surely you'd be like playing above your level, not standing on the pitch looking like you're going to burst into tears because you've got other players telling you off because you're not giving them the ball quick enough.
Does it feel like what the media are trying to say, Stan? Does it feel like the pressure is building on the team?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, the XG from yesterday's game is the second lowest Arsenal have ever had in the Premier League.
Yeah,
at home. I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah.
You know, what was our record at home like this season until recently?
Well, we lost to Man United and we drew a couple of games.
But it was basically it was ironclad though, wasn't it? And now we're not able to even now start keeping clean sheets at home. Let alone when we go away.
I think every season we lose one game at home, but now we've lost 2. So that's not good. This, you know what this felt to me? This felt to me like Aston Villa a couple of seasons ago. Do you know what I mean?
To me, it's been like a slow motion auto crash ever since we did the Clairvaux. Ever since those Clairvaux talks, we did not look good. Yeah,
that Aston Villa defeat was about 6 or 7 games from the end as well. You know.
I mean, do you watch? Pre-game interviews with the manager. You know, like the day before. I don't even watch them anymore. I don't watch them. I see them come up. I just go straight past them because he doesn't tell me anything.
No.
I don't waste my time listening to it. If I was a journalist, I wouldn't even bother going to those press conferences. I'd have the day off because you don't learn anything. He doesn't. And maybe that's a good thing, but this is his kind of mentality. And then when he does want to say something, it's about bringing dinner and lunch.
Yeah.
It's just
BX said it. Do or
He's
die
gonna start putting
settings.
his lunch orders in there or something.
Time to go for the gusto and become immortalized in glory or go bust. I mean that's like BX. We need to get you into the dressing room on Sunday before they go out on the field at the Etihad. It's do or die settings. Time to go for the gusto. You know, Berta,
he can take a job of a cameraman. I mean, he
yeah, that's what I
kind of
was
give a
thinking.
team.
That's what I was thinking. Berta and the Cronkies have given Arteta everything he's needed to go and win this season. He's yet again showing that he's incapable of getting over the line, and that if he fails to win, time to go. Listen, I do want to win that league title. I do want to win the Premier League. But I'd be okay if we moved on from Arteta in the summer, having won the Premier League as well.
Stan, where's your pendulum at right now?
Pendulum, yeah.
Yeah.
Your percentage scale, your sliding scale.
I'm kind of like at 70% that I've had enough of this management at the moment.
Right.
And it shouldn't be that high.
It should be the other way, right?
Looking at the position that we are in.
Yeah. We all brought in one of the most creative midfielders in Eze, and he looks flat. We brought in the most prolific striker in Europe in Gyökeres over the last 2 seasons, and he has gotten zero service. Even with the zero service, he's got just a decent return from the service he's got. Arteta's rhetoric was all well and good 4 or 5 years ago, but now those words are hollow when we should have won a trophy, at least won a trophy in the last 3 years. Actions, not words, matter now. The thing you have to do as well, if City aren't going to win a trophy, you have to be there. When you're in the same woods as a Liverpool or a City, when they're not winning the trophies, you have to claim them. Como 2, Inter 2. And there's been some talk about Fabregas, right? There's been some talk about Fabregas. Maybe we should.
Did you hear what Ian Wright said recently?
I think so, but recap.
I'll read it to you, so I don't have to. So it's exactly what he said. He says there, "You told us you were building, we accepted it. You asked us to trust the process, we did. First season, we finished second, we trusted. Second season, same again, we still trusted. Third season, no change, and we still stood by you. Now in the fourth season, you asked for squad depth, you got it. And it feels like the same pattern is happening again. I really hope it doesn't, because this time, if it does, I don't know."
Yeah.
And then that's followed up by Thierry Henry. So we're talking about 2 club legends here, okay? And this is his reaction to the defeat against Bournemouth. He says, "Look, I'm going to say how it is, because people don't like to hear the truth when it's about Arsenal. This team is too comfortable. Too comfortable. You can't be in the title race and play like you're protecting something instead of going to take it. I've defended Mikel Arteta many times, but today, I didn't recognise that team. Where is the urgency? Where is the killer instinct? You're playing AFC Bournemouth, no disrespect, and you're moving the ball like you're 3-0 up already. That's arrogance, not control. And this is the problem. I'm not finished yet, there's more. And this is the problem. It's not the first time. When it matters, they hesitate. They overthink. They try to play the perfect football instead of winning ugly. Champions don't do that. I've been there. Sometimes you have to suffer. Sometimes you have to be nasty. I don't see that edge in this team. People will talk tactics, substitutions, whatever. But for me, it's mentality. If you keep dropping points like this, don't talk to me about the title. You're giving it away again. And if Mikel Arteta doesn't change something quickly, whether it's the approach, the attitude, or even making big decisions on players, then yes, they will bottle it. And I don't say that lightly, but we've seen this movie before. At some point, you have to stop saying we're close and actually do it. Mm-hmm. Right now, They're not doing it.
Yeah, and as much as anything, the players are not backing up the what the manager is saying as well, or the manager is writing checks that the players can't cash. Do you know what I mean? He's saying things about this team that they're not able to do, and we're talking about some big players in that team. We're talking about the likes of Declan Rice and Zubimendi, Gabriel, Saliba, David Raya. That's the core of the team, whether you like it or not, you know. And attacking wise, we've not been at it. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, I think, anyway. That's the most annoying thing as well about these press conferences, asking the fans to bring the noise, and you perform like that with those tactics. So insulting to the fans. It's a symbiotic relationship, as George Graham used to say. If you give the fans something to shout about, they'll get right behind you. They'll get right behind the team. But you have to give the fans something to believe in. And a large portion of us, again, the Arsenal fan base is theoretically, and we're split in theory on the theory of this team. We're split because we don't believe that they have the minerals to go to the Etihad and put in a performance that could at least get you a draw, if not win there. If you win there, you're stamping your credentials for a league title that nobody can question. Because if you go to the Etihad and you beat that team, then you can say you're worthy champions. You know, if you go there and you draw, you can say you won on points. You know, as a boxing parlon. Tony, even if Berta had signed Semenyo, he would look like Gervinho under Arteta's system. And that's a tricky thing. This team needs a new manager with a new voice and direction of leadership. And, we want to
you're
win.
probably to have Bucharest give the most goals out of any player under Arteta in this season.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know. We just don't know what's going to happen next. And there could be, we all want to win this Premier League title, but I think we would all be okay if we went with it in a different direction in the summer as well. So that kind of sums things up, right? We're good, but we might not be great. Anyway.
To me, you just have to ask, did he do enough with his tools available? And it's just a emphatic no. I mean, you can't defend it anymore. You can defend it for a season or two, but now,
for me, show me
the fifth season.
For me, show me that you can win the Premier League title and you can get to the final of the Champions League. That would keep me quiet a little bit, you know. I'd still have my misgivings. Thanks to Alonso and Gary who dropped by. Tony, thanks for dropping in.
Yep. And we're not going to get to your 90 points, right?
And Stan also. We're not going to get to the 90 points now, right? We need 70. We're on 70 right now with 6 games to go. Best we can do is 88. So we don't have much margin for error. We could drop probably 4 points, I think. And still win the Premier League. Stan, hope your weekend gets better. Let's hope this Arsenal team can put Sporting to the sword and go into the Etihad on the back of some kind of confidence, right? As Riddy said, let's respond against Sporting. Thanks, everybody, for being here. It's not been a great Arsenal weekend, but something for this Arsenal team to fix up Arsenal. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.